My two favorite activities are disturbing the peace and drawing, but I can only get a good grade for one of them. So guess which one it is? Haha! So today, I'm going to talk to you about character design, because if you're an art person, or the art friend or whatever, that's really good to know, and if you're not, now you get to know how to flex on your art friends. So character design is based off of three things. 1, silhouette, which is pretty much just what the character looks like once you've filled in everything about it. It's all just completely blacked out. It looks like this. 2, color palette, which is pretty much just the color scheme of the character. It can tell a lot about it and the surroundings. And finally, 3, where we combine the first two things and make fashion. It's easier to draw than it is to wear, promise. So I actually have a hat full of words. I'm going to use those as the base for the character, and then as we make the character, I'm going to go through the three steps in the process. So let's start picking words, I guess. Interesting. Pool. I don't know if I meant like a swimming pool or like the game pool, but okay. Next one. Grunge. I think that's like a clothing aesthetic. Okay. I actually I didn't write down these words. I got my sister too. Checkers. Those are everywhere. And on top of that, the character is a monster. How edgy do we get? Alright, now that we have our words, let's jump into this fun little project. First, we have our silhouette. Now, generally speaking, in American cartoons and drawings, silhouette has been very important because it's easier to make toys out of, but in anime shows or realistic games, it's pretty hard to distinguish a character by itself. So you have to add a lot of things like accessories, stuff like that, which is, it tests your creativity, I guess. And obviously when you see characters and the outlines or silhouettes of the characters like this, you can pretty easily tell who it is. So the artists of shows like SpongeBob and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse did a very good job because they blocked out using basic shapes. Like SpongeBob's design includes a lot of squares, ovals, boxes, whatever. And Mickey Mouse's design includes a lot of circles and ovals, more round. This makes the characters easier to remember and easier to point out in a bunch of other characters. Now, a lot of art today, since it's usually applied towards the aesthetic of it or realism, it's pretty hard to find easily distinguished silhouettes unless it's an American cartoon. That even counts for my art, but this is just something to know if you're going for a really memorable character. Next up is color palette. Have you guys ever heard of color theory? Good, because I haven't. If you haven't either, that's okay. So this is the color wheel. This is obviously more colors than there are actually on the color wheel because I constantly abuse the power of having too many markers. But this is the general idea. So the primary colors are yellow, red, and blue. So pretty easy to remember, right? These are colors that you can't make. Secondary colors include green, orange, and purple. These are the colors that you get by mixing the primary colors together. Pretty easy to remember, again. Then we move on to complementary colors, which are colors that just go well together, I guess. Yellow to blue, yellow to purple, blue to orange, and red to green. Personally, I don't see how these are complementary, but art is a science, apparently, so just a preference. And you might be thinking that coming up with a color palette is pretty easy. Well, newsflash, it very isn't. I had to go through all of this, whatever this is, just to make a little tiny painting of a sunset with clouds. It turned out great, but still, I'm mad. It's always okay to have some color palettes planned beforehand when you make a character, but I usually go for them spontaneously. When I'm making a color palette, I usually go for like 3, maybe 4 or 5 colors. And I like to do like a couple warm colors and then just kind of boom, cool color in your face. It goes nicely. These are some palettes that I haven't actually used on any characters, but I think they look nice. So anyways, let's start applying this to the character. Let's go back to our words. So we've got a monster that wears grunge style clothing, that either plays checkers or wears checkered stuff. And I think I'm gonna go for wears checkered stuff, and has to do with pool. And I'm probably gonna go for the game with that one. I don't know how I'm gonna incorporate like a swimming pool into that. So anyways, yeah. First, we need to go online and figure out what kind of monster we want to draw, because there are a lot of weird monster drawings online. Let's go. So I've decided that anyone that draws monsters on the internet is probably a furry. So we're gonna make our own, yeah. Not dissing furries or anything, I just don't like drawing them, and I'm not one, so. Okay, excuse the perspective change, I don't like it either, but after going through this dummy thick book of fairies and monsters and stuff, I decided that the best thing I could draw for this would be kind of a troll almost, but less ugly, I guess. And I also found out that a really cool way to incorporate the pool setting of it was to use like an 8-ball as a hair tie. I don't know, I thought that was pretty neat. That also helps towards the silhouette, which is awesome sauce. And yeah, let's go into the fashion part, because that's going to be the hardest part of it. So I sketched out some bases so I can draw 3 different grunge inspired outfits. Oh my god, I can't believe I have to draw grunge. So I looked it up, and this is literally just what I thought was the epitome of aesthetic in 6th grade. It's so edgy. So the basic sketches are done, and let me just say, I would never wear this in 100 years. Never ever. But the fact that it is grunge does make the actual color palette itself a lot easier to handle, since it's mainly black and red or black and blue, because it's very edgy. Which, yeah, that's great. That's fine. It's great. So using animals as a cheat sheet for your color palettes is always a good idea. So for these outfits, I decided to use red, yellow, and black because grunge is super edgy and coral snakes have red, yellow, and black and they're venomous. Pretty neat. So I'm gonna color these in real quick and see how it looks. I added more colors. Also, it has come to my attention that these colors do not look like a coral snake, but in fact look like a very edgy McDonald's devotee. So I have decided to add blue to this outfit, and I'm choosing this one and this eye color. So that's her skin tone, eye color, hair color, whatever. And now we just have to do an actual drawing of her. How fun. So finally, this is the last stage of character design, the finished product. I think she looks pretty good. Not gonna lie. Pretty neat.